When I was a teenager, I was arrested for fighting and things like that. And I got taken back to the police station. I was being fingerprinted by a Māori cop, actually. And when everyone else left the room, he whispered in my ear, he said, "You're a fucking little bitch." At first I was shocked and angry that he was saying it, but eventually I believed it. You know, I just thought, well, he's this man of authority and he's Māori, and he was whispering these things in my ear to me. That was probably the catalyst for me to want to become a different sort of cop. I only attended the first year of high school, so I was uneducated, but I knew that to get through the police process you had to pass certain tests. I didn't pass the literacy test, so I had to sit level 2 English. I had to get a tutor to learn how to do math. I got to about a year into the process when I received a phone call from my recruitment officer to say that my application had been denied. I got a follow-up email to say the reasons why we're declining your application is because of familial offending and gang association. It was purely because of the way I was raised and the people that I grew up within a community.
Ngā tūtokitanga o Tairi, it was based over in North Tairi. That was set up in the 80s as a place for street kids. We had 25 houses. We had one of them. The mob had 13 of them, 13. And so at that time, all the access schemes were still running. So there was a lot to do out there. There was market gardening, there was carving. As we do as Māori, everybody was aunties, uncles, cousins, and that's come through right through 26 years later. We still have those connections in community.
I understand the risk that the organisation has. I understand that, but I truly believe that you can have that risk with anybody, with any culture. It's not a good enough reason to say that you cannot be a part of this organisation because of the risk that you pose to us. Everyone can pose a risk at some point. I had help from Tony Walsh, she's our iwi liaison officer, and Damien Rangitutia. So I had support from within my district to help me appeal. So I appealed it, and then again it got declined, and it says do not reapply. I thought, imagine how many other Māori make it this far and then are denied based on the same things that I have been through but not continued to pursue. And what the police are actually missing out on. They're missing out on quality people with valuable life experience. It just continues to build that divide between Māori and police, doesn't it? Tony Wall and Damien went to the district commander. A few months later, it was overturned and I was able to go back into the process.
I think probably what's really important is that the organisation was ready, and it wasn't a hard conversation that I had to have. I was one of several voices that were participants in that conversation that saw the value of doing something different. So if we're really going to be the organisation that we aspire to be, if we're really going to be true to our values and build a culture where we actually are true to our kind of founding principles and be the service that we really want to be, we absolutely need people like Desiree more than they need us.
Most people that I know, they're anti-police, but as soon as they heard that I was going to be part of the police, or I am, so proud. So proud. The Dunedin community is very small, so it's, oh, Desi, oh, I can't believe you're a police officer, and that's happened many times. I've also bumped into people who I got up to mischief with, and they're adults now still doing the same thing. But when they see me, they feel whakama about seeing me because to them it's mind-blowing. And these are the people that I've grown up with. And for them to see that I have made different choices in my life, choices that they thought maybe they could never make, do something that was people think that we cannot do because of the way that we've been brought up. But for them to see one of us who has bursted through that ceiling and done something that was going to be incredibly challenging and defying the odds, really, has been inspiring for them and encouraging for them.
She sort of got to a point where it didn't look like she was going to get into the police. So that was really her perseverance that's come through to push that along. So that's why I just hope that anyone else in a similar situation as her, more Māori female, if they feel as though they can't get past a certain point in the recruitment process or even get to the point of actually applying, that they see a story like Des's and realise that having Māori in the police is exactly what the public need.
What I've found is, initially when I was declined, the risk was people that I know, associates that I know that may potentially put me at risk. But I've actually, everyone that I know that I've run into on a job, and whether they be the offender or the victim, it's always been a good encounter. I've not attended a job where it's turned out really bad because I know that person. It's always de-escalated a situation.
I do worry, no doubt about that. But Desiree's been, I think with her upbringing, I worked for Women's Refuge for a long time. Desiree was part of the whānau at Women's Refuge. She saw a lot of the work that was going on there. We worked very closely with the police, so I saw a lot of what the police did going into domestic violence situations, and Women's Refuge couldn't have done their job without the police.
We can go into a family harm situation and understand the dynamics, or kind of with our eyes more wide open than someone who's perhaps straight out of school would maybe see. And families that we go to, they know that. They know, within us if we're for real or not, if we know what we're talking about, if we've experienced that or not. And you can relate to them, and they can have that experience perhaps that I didn't, the experience that I had with police.
She's very proud of her heritage, her whānau. I know that there's a lot of others out there like her, young Māori women who have also had experiences on the other side of the tracks, so to speak, and they would offer a lot of great support to members of the public who are having troubled times.
It's a slow turning cog, but it starts with hiring more Māori to connect with Māori in the community. I don't think there's any other answer. If I have that influence where I can perhaps be something positive, I'm going to build that bridge so that my whānau and friends can have that, a new experience with police.
What about love? Can't you see?